Seventh, Eitan Yahalomi, aged 12, was at home in kibbutz Nir Oz. Where else would he be on a Saturday morning? Early in the morning, Hamas terrorists stormed into his community and broke into his house. Eitan was flung over one motorcycle. His mother Batsheva and his two sisters were thrown on a second motorcycle. His wounded father, Ohad, remained with Hamas death squads inside the house. The terrorists began speeding towards Gaza. As they got close to the border, they spotted an IDF tank and panicked. Batsheva's motorcycle fell, and she and her daughters managed to escape. They ran for their lives. And they watched Eitan, a 12-year-old boy, being dragged away across the border into Gaza. Eitan was held by Hamas terrorists in gruesome conditions until he was released in November last year after 52 days in captivity. Eitan's father, Ohad, is still a hostage in the Gaza terror dungeons. Batsheva Yahalomi has been fighting for her husband's life for more than a year now. The surviving hostages in Gaza are barely clinging on to life. Time isn't running out, it's run out. Hamas continues to demand a ransom payment that will allow Hamas to remain in power in Gaza and prepare to carry out more October 7th massacres until Israel is destroyed, just as it's promising. There is only one thing that can change the status quo, and here's where you can step in and help create a modern-day miracle. We need more pressure on Hamas and Hamas's patrons, Qatar, Turkey, and Iran, until Hamas ends the war that it started, lays down its arms, and frees all the hostages. There hasn't been enough pressure on Qatar and Turkey. There hasn't been any pressure on Qatar and Turkey, two countries that openly support the Hamas terrorist regime. Western countries have leverage over Qatar and Turkey, and they must use it before it's too late. That's why Mandy Damari, mother of British-Israeli hostage Emily, ripped from her home in Kfar Aza, is demanding that Britain lead an international effort to get humanitarian aid to the hostages. But their appeals are falling on deaf ears among world leaders. We need you to fight for the hostages' lives. What Batsheva Yahalomi has endured until now is unfathomable. She survived an abduction attempt. She's treating her son who survived Hamas captivity. And she's doing everything she can to rescue her husband from Hamas's terror dungeons. Batsheva Yahalomi is a brave woman. She's a hero of Israel, and her fight is not yet over. This is her story.
We all entered a safe room, and while staying there and hearing lots of alarms, we started to hear also shouting in Arab outside the wall, outside the house. Lots of Allahu Akbar. We started to hear shooting on the house from outside. We started to smell smoke. We understood something very different and very dangerous is happening. Ohad was standing outside the safe room, and he told us every few minutes that he loves us. He knew something very bad is going to happen. And at about 10 o'clock, they entered the house. They shot him. We heard him screaming. And then they entered the safe room. At that moment, I was already very cold mind, very in a survival mode, very thinking about how to save the children. I am with the baby on my hands all the time. She was only 1 year and 8 months, and the two children is near me. Ohad was still unconscious. I asked him what they want, not because I didn't understand what they want, but I wanted Ohad to tell me what to do. He told us that they are taking us to Gaza, and he told us to go with them. We stood outside the house on the street, waiting for our lift to Gaza. Pajamas, without shoes, without anything. The baby on me, the two children near me. While waiting outside, they were filming us. I was begging them to release the children. I couldn't understand. They are taking children with them to Gaza. I thought also that I'm a woman. It's also not catchable that they are taking me, but I'm an adult. Then okay, but the children, I couldn't catch it, and I begged them to release the children, but they didn't respond. Tan, my son, he was on the first motorcycle alone with the terrorist, and me and the two daughters were on the second motorcycle. At about 100 meters from the border, two tanks has arrived, two IDF tanks, and the terrorists were panicked and started to run, and the motorcycle of me and the two daughters were falling. And that was the last time I saw Eitan. The name I gave Eitan, that means he's strong and stable. I remember I thought that I hope the name I gave him will be on his size. The tank didn't stop, he couldn't stop. He was surrounded by hundreds of terrorists. So we ran to the fields. I hear the alarms all the time from the kibbutz. I see the rockets above us, and when getting to the northern gate from outside, we saw a bus coming. Two soldiers were running to us. This was the first bus of IDF soldiers that has arrived to the kibbutz to save the people at about 2 p.m. After almost 8 hours of trying to survive. Only at the beginning of November, we had a formal confirmation that Ohad was kidnapped, and Eitan also, and that they are alive, both of them. Eitan, my son, was released after 52 days as part of the deal. When he came back, of course, it was a big relief and a big happiness. But then he started to tell about what he has been through. It's very hard to say how is Eitan now, because we are still in the trauma. Eitan got out, but Ohad, his father, is still there. We are already 442 days to the war, and the war will not end until the 100 hostages that are still there, including Ohad, will return. Let our people go. Ohad, if you can hear us, I want to tell you that me and the children are okay. The last thing that you saw is us. We're taking in front of your eyes. We miss you a lot. We love you a lot. We are doing everything to save you and the other hostages. We are waiting for you.